the mining sector. Now, Mr. Hosea Chimbombi, the Acting Deputy Director in the Department of Mines in the Ministry of Minerals and Energy, joined us earlier to expand on this issue. That's the clip that I'm going to be leaving you with right now. That is how we come to the end of the Thursday edition of In Context. We've been here since 2. Thank you so much for allowing me to keep you company and make you way for Botswana Tonight coming at 6 until we meet again tomorrow. Good evening. On October 1st, 2025, Botswana officially enacted the Mines and Minerals Amendment Act 2024, marking a major shift in the country's mining policy. The legislation introduces significant reforms aimed at strengthening governance, increasing citizen participation, and promoting sustainable development within the mining sector. Now, key provisions including a mandatory 24% equity stake for citizens in mining ventures, requirements for local beneficiation of minerals where feasible, the establishment of environmental rehabilitation funds, and stricter penalties for non-compliance. To discuss these amendments in detail and explore their potential impact on the future of mining in Botswana and consider the opportunities and challenges they present for the industry, the government and local communities, we are joined by Mr. Hosea Chimbombi, the Acting Deputy Director in the Department of Mines in the Ministry of Minerals and Energy, to help us dissect this issue. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you so much for joining us on Botswana Television.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Okay. Now, maybe let's start the conversation by understanding, or you share with us, the Mines and Minerals 2024 Act, the change that has been made.
Thank you very much for the interview. We have amended the Mines and Minerals Act, and it has covered several of the sections in the Act, but predominantly I want to talk about 4 areas that have been covered by the Mines and Minerals Act. The beneficiation of minerals, citizen participation, working interests in terms of acquisition of working interests in the mines, environmental protection, and lastly, fees and fines for those that are not in compliance with the requirements of the Act.
But maybe we can get into them one by one to try to understand what really comes down to individuals or to those who want to get into mining. We're talking about beneficiation or citizen participation. Let's start with that one. What is it that we're talking about?
Thank you. To facilitate the development of the entire value chain of minerals in the country, we have amended Section 12 of the Act that talks about participation of citizens or acquisition of procurement from locals, and here the section has been amended such that the holder of the mineral concession must beneficiate as much as feasible the mineral commodity that they are mining in the country to a level where it will be prescribed, and the specific prescription will be detailed in the regulations that are to be developed. But really here it's talking about beneficiation of the minerals locally.
All right. I would want us also in that very same breath to understand how the ministry is going to make sure that at the end of the day, citizens are also benefiting from this and making sure that in ordinary Botswana also benefit from this in their small, areas or small businesses.
I think you must acknowledge that the mining sector at large is one of the anchor sectors in terms of the economy in the country. And we believe that wherever a mineral commodity has been found and being exploited, they can be used as an anchor from where other sectors can develop from, for example, manufacturing or workshop services, catering or anything. So really what we are talking here is that the developer or the mining concession holder must beneficiate the mineral within the borders of the country such that it also acts as an anchor for other economic sectors to provide services to the mining sector.
What key factors determine whether local beneficiation of minerals is considered feasible? Which ones is it considered feasible?
Well, we have quite a number of mineral commodities that we are mining locally. talk of soda ash. I mean, there are some things that can be made from salt and soda ash locally. Talk of copper and nickel. They can be beneficiated to other products. And over and above that, their establishment will promote development of other sectors that will provide services to that. In mining, we are using very heavy machinery. Parts for their servicing and maintenance can be sourced from local businesses that can be anchored, that can be established as anchors for the mining sector. So that is from the perspective that we're talking into.
Right. We're talking also about the environment. How has we been doing, because we are a mining country, date back since independence. How have we been protecting our environment in these terms? And what does the law now, the inaction, talking about the protection of the environment, and what is it that has been put in black and white to make sure that the environment as we are mining is also protected?
Well, in the old Act, it will only talk about obligations that the holder has in terms of ensuring that at the end of the life of the mine, there is rehabilitation and closure of the mine. But it was not prescriptive in terms of how that can be done and how it can be funded. In the amendments that we have developed, it is spelling out in terms of the mechanisms of ensuring that there is adequate funding for ensuring that at the end of the life of the mine, rehabilitation and mine closure are done, and they are done to the specifications that are satisfactory to the minister.
Okay.
So this is talking to establishment of a rehabilitation trust fund or establishment of a fund in any of a bank of banks that are registered locally or that can be approved by the minister, such that we are able to access funding at the end of the life of the mine to ensure that environmental obligations are fulfilled.
How are we going to ensure the transparency and accountability at the end of the day? Is it stipulated in the new enacted law that this is how we are going to monitor and make sure that those, because I understand that there are also stricter penalties that are going to be given for those who do not abide by this?
Thank you. In terms of ensuring transparency and implementation, the Act talks to regular review of the mine closure plans and environmental assessments that are done which necessitate the development of the mine. So the understanding or the expectation is that as and when these are reviewed, they will take into consideration the footprint and the obligations that are there in terms of the damage that would have been done to the environment at any given time. And adequate funding must be set up that is enough to be able to address the footprint that will be there at that time.
I understand also that some observers fear that stricter penalties and higher local participation threshold could discourage foreign investment. Maybe you can comment on that one.
I don't think so.
All right.
I think in terms of the penalties, maybe you're mixing two things. Let's talk to penalties first. In terms of penalties, they have been revised and been increased a bit to address issues of non-conformity to the requirements. As an example, there was a spot penalty of 200 pula that was, I think, implemented from 1999. It has been revised to about 5,000 pula, and we believe that is reasonable looking at current trends. There's been other penalties that have been administered. I think violation of Section 83, that's talking about illegal operations. We have revised them from 1,000 pula to 500,000 pula, and there's several of other penalties that are there. We don't think they are there to deter investment, but they are there to ensure that developers abide by the law and ensure that they do what is required or prescribed in the Act.
All right. We're also most of the times talking about these mines that are being opened in different communities that the mines are operating in. We're also interested in understanding the social corporate responsibilities or involvement of the communities surrounding those mines. What is it that is there to make sure that at the end of the day it does benefit those who this mine is within their vicinity?
Thanks. In terms of the corporate social responsibility, unfortunately, the Mines and Minerals Act does not specifically or explicitly talk to the administration of the corporate social responsibility. We believe there has to be an act that talks to that. Really, it's in the context of beneficiation of the local communities. However, we believe the introduction of the mineral beneficiation and citizen empowerment within the Act will augment the amendment or the introduction of the Beneficiation Act in terms of benefits of the local communities. And furthermore, beneficiation and development of other sectors around the mining sector, as looking at the mine as the hub for economic benefit. We believe the local communities must really benefit from such. And we believe there is that needs to be done to upskill the local community in terms of getting them to be relevant to the skills requirements for the sector.
All right. I'm interested in the very same breath, what are those opportunities that do exist in the amendments that are going to be created for communities living within the vicinity of these mines, and how is the government going to make sure that at the end of the day, the communities do really benefit meaningfully from the mines within their vicinity?
I talked about Section 12 of the Mines and Minerals Act. That is talking about preferential procurement of services from the locals.
Yeah.
It has been amended to ensure that now it is explicitly talking to preferential procurement for citizens and majority citizen-owned companies locally. Because preferential procurement can be there, but if it's not really talking to the citizens, it is leaving them a bit out. So we believe that amendment of Section 12 of the Mines and Minerals Act will help in terms of ensuring that citizens benefit, and they benefit better compared to how it was before. And when we talk about shareholding of government on licensed companies within the country, the shareholding has been increased from 15% to 24% for government. And there's been a provision that in the event government does not take up that 24%, up to 24%, citizens are given an opportunity to acquire that. And since we know that the economics are not really favoring citizens to be immediately acquiring that, there's a grace period of about 3 years over which they should be able to raise funding and acquire up to 24% shareholding in terms of ownership of the company that will be exploiting the mineral resource locally.
Most definitely. Now, we understand that the government has always been talking about, diversifying from the mining sector to other sectors of the economy. And I believe as we are also looking into what's within our reach as the mineral sector, we have got this, and we do what we call the value chain development within this. How are we going to capacitate our communities to make sure that we diversify within the mining sector, that we do what we call value chain development and even create employment for those within the country?
Thank you. And in terms of responding to that, actually the market itself has shown to us that we need to diversify within the mineral sector, diversifying away from diamonds, as diamonds probably are, that they are the main anchor commodity in terms of minerals that we're exploiting here.
Yeah.
The Kalahari Copper Belt has proven that there is potential for other mineral commodities, copper, nickel, cobalt, and the likes. And effectively, I think it is time that we look into ensuring that investors or potential investors do what we call prospecting within that copper belt to open up more mines. And as we open more mines and there is adequate feedstock or supply, then we will talk about other beneficiations like toll smelting or downstream beneficiation of now making products from the commodities or the concentrates that we are mining from within our borders.
Right. We are towards the end of this conversation. I understand that also most of the times you find out that ministries have got their laws put in black and white, understanding their objective and what is it that they need to do with these new amendments that they're doing. But the community is far from understanding the mandate. How are you going to make sure that you engage and making sure that you pass information to those, within the communities who have got business ideas, who are willing to even partnering with the ministry to make sure that this is the information that you need, the connection within the community? How much are you passing that information?
This very interview is one of the ways in which we're engaging the communities. Fortunately for the mining sector, we have what we call the mining chamber, the Chamber of Mines, which is considered to be the representation of all the mining houses in the country. And in all that we are doing, generally we'll be engaging with Botswana Chamber of Mines in terms of what is done, any consultation that needs to be done, and that will be seen as representation of the mining sector. But even to the community at large, I mean, thanks to the development of the social media and the likes, we are on Facebook, we are on all these social media platforms where we are talking to amendments and all the new things that we are doing within the ministry. So I believe it's a way of reaching out to the community at large and also ensuring that our stakeholders are up to date with what developments are there.
All right. Talking about our stakeholders, we are wrapping up this conversation in just a minute. How do you see this amendment, benefiting the mining sector as a whole? Is your last words to those who are interested in the amendments that have been made?
I believe the amendments will contribute significantly in terms of the economics of the communities. Looking at the increased shareholding, there's going to be meaningful participation of government and also of citizens in terms of ownership of the mines and the minerals in the country. There's going to be benefit in terms of beneficiation of the commodity, because as you beneficiate, you add value, the returns increase. So we believe there will be meaningful benefit of the country and the citizens from all the steps that we do in terms of the entire value chain of minerals, from mining to processing and to manufacturing. And also as the ministry, we wish that this act revives activities, particularly prospecting or early stage works, because it is from prospecting that there will be new mines that will be developing, from the discoveries that will make from active exploration and active prospecting works will bring up more mines, and that will mean increased revenue, that will mean increased businesses, that will mean increased opportunities for employment and the like. So we believe the act is there to stimulate the sector and improve benefits to the nation.
Most definitely. Rachel Mbombi, thank you so much for such insights. I believe Botswana, who are interested in the mining sector and coming up with new businesses, have been listening to these conversations, and they're going to leverage on this amendment. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Kanye, a village nestled in Botswana's southern district, is a land blessed with a natural beauty and captivating landscapes. Among its most remarkable features is the Paring Gorge. One of